if somebody wants to call in, and I think we're about to be live. Okay, we're live now. Yeah, if somebody wants to call in and they want to ask you something, and it's a position you don't respect or like, that I don't have a problem with that. But if anybody's watching in the chat, or if anybody's thinking about calling in, which you're more than welcome to at the end of the show, I will get super chats if you want to give them, if you care about that sort of thing, or if you want to call Jeremy on the Discord. That will all be at the tail end of the show, so Jeremy and I can focus on the conversation. So we have mods in the chat. Don't be fucking dicks. Don't be fucking dicks, motherfucker. You can dislike this guy. You can dislike me. But, you know, come on now. Come on now. All right. So here we go. This is the quartering is here. Okay. Your name is Jeremy. You call yourself the quartering. What's that about, Jeremy?
Yeah, it's a nice softball to start.
I really don't know why you call. I have no idea.
Yeah, well, it's a reference to, I mean, like the literal drawing and quartering thing.
Okay.
But I think, I mean, it's a sub reference to the way that. So I was a big Magic the Gathering player. I played since Alpha, really, and I don't even want to think about what I did with those cards anymore. But the
what, you sold them, you mean, and got rid of them?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure I sold. I used to trade like dual lands for dragons because I like dragons, and now the dual lands are worth, you know, thousands of dollars.
Gotcha.
But like, you know, and it just like many things, it became heavily politicized, and it's really a reference to being like pulled in all directions, and then having your hobby become this thing that becomes stressful, and it gets ruined by both sides, so to speak, staking claim and fighting over something that used to be pure and just like a game about goblins and fighting dinosaurs and things like that. Right.
Okay, so that's where it comes from. When we talked this morning, one of the reasons, I mean, like I was saying to you, you're an incredibly divisive figure. One of the reasons I was really excited to talk to you, and immediately when I told people I was going to talk to you, it was like, what are you doing giving this guy a platform? First off, your videos, you piss the amount of views I get in a week. So I'm not giving any.
I didn't want to say that. Yeah, I didn't want to say that to people. It sounds cringe, but I was like, I saw the like platforming. I'm like, bro.
but even if I was fucking PewDiePie or whatever, somebody who's got a bigger following than you, I don't, you know, there was a thing going on with Steve Bannon back. He was going to be interviewed by, it was like the New Yorker, the New York Times, I forget who it was, and they ended up canceling it because everybody was up in arms. And I can't stand Steve Bannon. I think he's a criminal. I think Trump's a criminal. I can't stand him at all. But that said, though, you know, unless there's something like a gag order from the judicial system, I want to hear news sources talking to all sorts of people because, you know, it will expose them if they're bad guys. And if they're not bad guys and we just think they're bad guys, it'll give them an opportunity to express something we may not have heard before. So in your case, I'm like, I'm not, Jeremy doesn't need me. And even if he did, he's got a right to have his opinion.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think we're of the same mind there. You know, the old saying of the best disinfectant is sunlight. I've always felt that way. I would never really want anyone, you know, it feels like one side of the aisle has dealt with more deplatforming than the other. Maybe that's not statistically true, but in the things that I cover, this is something I've always said. When you have divisive figures, like far more divisive than me, like people that actually say crazy stuff, you know, like I feel like banning people only galvanizes their following and makes their ideas impossible to refute. So I think we agree on that.
Yeah, and you said to me this morning when we were setting this up, you said, you know, and it reminded me, and I'm a big, you know, fan of Colin Moriarty. I always talk about Colin. I have a lot of respect for what he's done, and he's, I don't know if he's misunderstood or not, but I know that he gets a lot of shit from a lot of people. And as a fan of his and a friend of his, I go, but he's not like that. And you said this morning, you're like, a lot of people judge me by my thumbnails, which are, we'll talk about, but they don't really watch the content. I mean, that you feel you're misunderstood by a lot of people?
Well, I just think I can tell when somebody's put in the work to watch the video, so to speak, you know, and I think, look, we're all like guilty of headline reading. Yeah, a lot of the things, in fact, like most of the strongest criticisms against me are generally like, I can tell that they're in bad faith, that they don't watch the video, or that they, or that it's not, it's not something I believe or I've ever believed. And it's a frustrating thing that just comes with, being terminally online. I've been a YouTuber for more than 10 years. Like I've had a channel dedicated to remote control cars, to Magic the Gathering, to claw machines, to
IT, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I've been online so long, and so there's so many clips and bits and bytes, or also, I've been creating videos for 15 plus years. My opinion has changed over time, or it's become more nuanced, and people cling to something I said, in a video 5, 6, 7 years ago, and it's like, it is annoying to continue to like say, okay, well, no, actually, this is what happened. And you can only do that so many times, so you just let it go eventually, because you can't, you just can't deal with it all the time.
No, I assume, and I'm sure we will find, we're on opposite sides of a lot of things when it comes to politics. But maybe. But I can agree with you there. I mean, what I get from people is a lot of times they think I'm this right wing guy, and I'm just like, are you out of your fucking mind? I'm so, I have trademarked the phrase with my lawyer that I'm the most progressive guy you know. And I am the most progressive guy you know. I mean, I'm insanely progressive. And the fact that people walk around thinking I'm not, I'm just like, where the fuck did you get that idea from? So, but you're right. After a while, you're like, I just can't correct you anymore, because what's the point? The fire hose is too much to try to course correct. It is what it is,
Yeah, you can only kind of. I sent you a chat, by the way, but the chat saying that my volume's low. I don't know if that's a meme in your chat or not. But
it should not be. Let me let me see. Hang on, let's check. Thanks for letting me know. Rob the Mod, I know you're sick in bed with COVID, but if you agree that his volume's too low, let me know, and I will do what I can.
I think that it's just a game of telephone in a lot of cases. I mean, there are legitimate criticisms, 100%. But I also think that, when I actually talk to people, which is really the only reason I took this interview, is because you've shown a history of like talking to people in good faith. And I think that's probably why people think you're, because the people that will say you quote unquote platform somebody, these people are not for freedom of speech or for hearing somebody out. They want to just, ban and cancel. And so, go ahead.
I'm real fascinated by that, because we've got members of our chat. I was talking to them earlier this morning in the Discord from Europe, and in Europe, like hate speech, or however hate speech is defined, is literally illegal in Europe. And it's been so interesting to watch that cultural smash up of people in America that were raised with the truth and or propaganda of freedom at all costs. I mean, nothing is right, nothing is wrong. Everyone's got a point. And then you look at a lot of other cultures, whether it's minor, like in the UK where there is hate speech, or it's major, like in, communist China, where you can't say shit unless you want to fucking end up in one of those police chairs. And everybody kind of has a point, right? I mean, there's so much freedom in America, which is, we've been trained to say is wonderful, but do you think there is a point where something like hate speech should be made illegal? And who defines it? Okay, all right.
No. Yeah, I'm a free speech absolutist. I think that you can't go down that road. I mean, I have a close personal friend who almost went to prison for teaching his dog a trick. You might have saw the hullabaloo around like.
Was this Cujo's owner?
No. It was Count Dankula. He lives in the UK. He's a YouTuber. He basically had a pug where he's like, my wife thinks this dog is the cutest thing ever. So he made like a joke video about teaching him to do the Nazi salute. He almost went to jail, and he had to go through court. It was this big thing. Well, they don't have a First Amendment there, but to me, it was an obvious joke in context, but they take this out of context where the court literally ignored. They said, we don't have to pay attention to context. You taught your dog to do this thing, you're
Right.
criminal now. So I have to be an absolutist.
Yeah.
Even if I acquiesce and give some, there is some gray areas around. For example, we saw with, if you are inciting,
Right.
This is something that's different, right? So it is a gray area that.
Why do you think because I mean, I'm torn on it. I'm an absolutionist when it comes to the fact that intellectually and even emotionally, I don't like anybody telling anybody what the fuck they can say unless it really does cross some line that harms someone physically, like someone goes to violence. But at the same time, I'm just like, God, we're such an terrible species on the planet. We're mean and we're assholes, and we're especially in capitalist societies, we are so driven by money that it becomes very difficult when there's very little social safety net to listen to the better voices in your head when you can maybe be a little bit of an asshole and make some cash, because no one, government ain't paying for your fucking shit. Someone's got to pay for your insulin or whatever the fuck you're buying.
Yeah, no kidding. That's a joke. That shit should be free. But I think it's so sometimes you have to have, I'm not saying you don't, but this is how I view it, because I agree with what you're saying. I view it like there are uncomfortable times, and these are the times that we have our guiding principles. And so, I'm one of my kind of core tenets is when I look at a certain situation is personal responsibility. And so if I tell my viewers to go do this bad thing, and then they do, it creates this gray area where, ultimately they're the ones that did it. And so I believe they're the ones responsible, but it creates an uncomfortable time for me to, if somebody's like literally saying, go to this person's house and do this bad thing,
right,
and they do it.
I mean, you did specifically tell your viewers, I forget what her name was. It was was it a trans activist or a content creator, and said, hey, she's and some of your points I agreed with, right? She's a cosplayer. Maybe she wasn't a trans. It was a Magic the Gathering person.
You're mixing the two up.
I'm mixing. Yeah. So what dude, you've been busy. I can't keep them straight. But no, you made this video, and it was actually, there was a compelling part of it at the end where you're showing this woman who is incredibly attractive, and she is, putting herself in these costumes that are very revealing, very sexy. I 100%. That doesn't give anyone the right to be cruel to her or mean to her, say bad things or treat her badly. But you were calling her out, saying, you can't. Are you nuts? I mean, you're clearly, it doesn't mean you're not doing it just for yourself and you're not enjoying it, but to act like someone would get off on this, it's a little naive. So I agreed with that.
Yeah, I think you're referring to basically the one thing that you had mentioned earlier, the Magic-Gate thing, the whole. Yeah,
I had heard something totally different. I heard you actually accosted somebody at a convention, and then you were saying that didn't happen.
No, of course that never happened. The crux of the issue was, I am protective of predominantly male hobbies from being predated. Not to keep women out, but I worry. For example, I have similar concerns on Twitch.
I'm sorry. What does predated mean?
I don't know if that's the right word, but like having the young men be preyed upon by dishonest actors, meaning, a beautiful woman comes in, she pretends she likes your thing, and give her money to dress up. This is the cosplay argument thing. This is also a take that I made 15 years ago.
I was going to say, it doesn't. Do you still believe that?
I don't hate the player. I hate the game. So if I were to deploy that argument, and by the way, I have apologized. So first of all, this was a stream that was viewed by a total of about 200 people, in which I was too mean, way too mean. I had reached out and spoken to that particular cosplayer multiple times since then, and apologized directly to her, and also apologized publicly. So it's like one of those sins I'm not really paying any mind to having to apologize.
Just so I'm clear, because I don't think we covered it yet, apologize to the act of telling your viewers of that stream to go over to her Twitter and kind of mess with her, or? I
don't believe I ever said that. If I did,
you did. I saw it today. Okay. I can play it for you if you want, but I don't want to do that.
I'll trust you here.
Yeah.
I'll trust you.
Yeah.
No, that's not okay. And
right.
I apologize to her directly, and in a video, actually in 2 videos. It's often mischaracterized as the reason I was banned from Magic, which it was not. And I've showed multiple times the actual emails I got from Wizards of the Coast. The reason I was banned is because I was essentially taunting and being an asshole to an a-hole to other.
Oh, I don't care. I've watched you. We're going to talk about your. We're going to. Yeah. You do. We're going to talk about your fucking work ethic in a minute because it's staggeringly impressive. Whatever anybody watching this thinks the quartering, what the fuck, motherfuckers. But that said, though, the other impressive thing is you've either in your real life you don't curse or you just know that it'll demonetize you, and so it's like you've got a whole vocabulary of words that you slot in. So no, cuss all you want on this one.
No, I do curse in real life, but in general, I'm also respectful of other creators and their audiences.
Yeah.
There's an audience, a section of my audience that is, religious and family friendly. So I don't really, I've had people sometimes when I live stream and people are like, whoa, I've never heard them, like I'm very different when I live stream.
Are you religious?
No. I'm agnostic at best.
Right. I'm agnostic atheist. I'll get to that later. Keep going because I got to ask you about that.
Okay, so to summarize, I was banned because I was young and I was an idiot. Essentially, I put out a video making fun of Mark Rosewater, who was a big deal in Wizards of the Coast, the guy, the head of the company, and then basically roasting and in some cases being too mean other content creators. So Wizards of the Coast sent me this email and they're like, here's these tweets you made. Not a single reference to, I don't want to say her name, I don't want to bring extra trouble to her, but not a single reference to the cosplayer. And I have a video on my channel where I show the actual email that I get. So there's this narrative that like he was banned from Magic for life because he was harassing women. It's just not true. You find a single article about me misbehaving at a convention. The only thing that ever happened to me at a convention was somebody physically assaulted me.
Gen Con, right?
Gen Con.
Right.
Yeah, that's the only thing that is ever negative. You know what I mean? Like,
you took him to court, right?
Yeah, I took everything from him too because.
But you guys then settled or something because I read that it's like you're banned and he's banned from Gen Con, but nobody knows why you're banned because he attacked you.
I was banned because my viewers were spamming the live chats of Gen Con being dicks.
I see. Okay.
Afterwards, I'm friends with the people that run it. They are friendly. He's very liberal. And him and I have exchanged several emails where like, he's like, bro, I get it. Like he's very reasonable. And that's why like I really haven't put them on blast. I would love to go back to Gen Con.
Isn't it in your neck of the woods? It's in yeah. It just happened. It was a couple of days. Yeah.
Nothing. Yeah. I would love to go back, but like I don't feel safe. Like seriously. And then also like I don't want to actually, he was so nice about it. Like I don't want to cause him a problem. Right. Oh my God, he's here now. Now there's going to be articles. That's like, it's one of those things where like, bro, I got assaulted with my back turned by a drunken idiot who didn't like a tweet I made or something. I still don't know why he did it. But like, the guy worked there. He had a booth there selling his games. So like, and again, I can't give specifics because
Understood.
But like, I mean, I think it's clear, like, one of us had to upload a video apologizing, the other one didn't. We'll say that way. But like, it's sometimes people get so insane. Like, it's never been personal for me, David. Never. Like, I log off the internet. I don't think about this stuff.
Right.
And so anyway, if people want to know the real reason I was banned, I have a video on my channel where I show the actual email from Wizards of the Coast. I was being a dick to the people that worked there. I was making videos, making fun of them for being super woke and super progressive. And that's why they banned me.
Do you think And that makes sense. I mean, I appreciate and that's, I mean,
I
that's
was poking the bear for months.
Well, there's nothing wrong with poking the bear. I mean, it's not illegal to poke the fucking bear, but it is a private company, right? If they want to ban you, they can ban you. So
I got it. I got what they, I understand.
So do you think because I mean, you're saying a lot of this stuff, if I'm hearing you right, a lot of this stuff is, I was young, I needed the money. Now I was young, and what if that? Hey, listen, I was staggered. I was fascinated by the responses I got when I said you're coming on. Mm-hmm. There was like a 20% response that bubbled up throughout the day where people think you're really good looking. Do you know this?
I love that.
I'm sure you do. That must be nice. But I'm just like, I didn't know that. Somebody's like, oh, dude, I don't like his views, but he's fucking hot. Do you get that a lot? Like a lot of people.
Never. Are you gassing?
I would not lie to you. On my kid's life, I'll retweet it.
Oh, I believe you. Yeah. But I mean, no, I've never gotten that. Here's what I get when people see me in real life. They're like, so I'm like 6'6".
Oh, okay.
So people are like, dude. And people say I'm taller than
it's like, that's a lot of racism. What? Come on now. I will get to that. Yeah, I'm just, but okay. So what about,
I can take a joke.
I know. Well, look, so you've been online for a very long time. The Quartering is a very, very successful brand. I'm curious about when you were talking about sort of, sending people over to people's houses and all that. I mean, you must have not just haters, but you must have this kind of parasocial thing where, I mean, you're uploading 5 to 7 times a day. Mm-hmm. What is your relationship like with your fans? Like, do you just go, no, they're just my fucking people I talked, or do you feel like, dudes, that's kind of gets a little weird? Because when you log off, right? I mean,
yeah, no, it's awesome. I have a great relationship with them. And when I meet them in public, I just went to the Renaissance Fair last week. I love going to Renaissance fairs. And like 3 people there were like, what's up, dude? Sometimes
they recognized you.
Yeah. I love it. As long as I'm not like, sometimes I'll be like eating dinner with my family and like I'll see somebody pull up their cell phone and they're like, I can tell they're talking about me.
Right.
And I was like, that's a little weird, but like if I'm in public, I love it. They never go too far. They're very, very respectful of that. And I think this is my audience skews a little bit older. Mm-hmm. So it's like my primary audience is like that 18 to 40.
Right,
so
right.
Most of them are like, they know social, like
graces.
A lot of times I'll get one of these. Yeah, I'll get one of these like,
right.
In chat, like, I know you, but I'm going to like not be and I'll usually be like, no, come on. You're like, come on over, dude. It's cool. And then there's occasionally people who don't like me. I'll run into them, and even they're like pretty respectful. You know what I mean? Like, in real life, it's a little, and I'm also 6'6". Like,
right.
It's a little different.
So all of this stuff you're saying, a lot of that stuff's in your past. The person you are now online, and you've been online for the last 2 years, let's just say, because the first I learned about you, I think, was when you were doing a video about Spider-Man and and Sam Raimi's outfit and. Puddle Gate. I don't fucking know. What's back then?
I remember.
Yeah.
It might have been about the. Okay, go on. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember Puddle Gate. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So, but if that is an accurate reflection of you as a person, then my question is, and everybody can change, and in 5 years you'll look back and say, oh, I reevaluated that. But do you think you are like, are you providing a service, or are you contributing to the anger and the hate and the divisiveness of our discourse? Like, where do you put yourself in the result of the work that you do?
Sure. I actually think some people may say this delusional. So I view my product first and foremost as like a news curator.
Okay.
I think my viewers are busy people, and it's my job to find the 5 or 6 stories that are the most important to them for that day. Sometimes it's a story that connects deeply with me. Sometimes it's a story that I don't care at all about.
Okay.
But I do think if you go beyond the thumbnail, which would probably be a decent podcast name, but if you went beyond the thumbnail, beyond the outrage, eventually you'll see, I'm sure this video will have comments from both sides, but if you actually watch my videos, I usually will say, like, it might say something like, oh, crazy SJW does this, whatever, But then if you watch the video, I will likely say, it's probably, I think I do a lot to diffuse. I might bring people in with a spicy title or a thumbnail. But if you watch my video, I'm usually saying like, is it that bad? Is it maybe, so I try to like diffuse situations. Now there are occasions where I'm worked up about something and I mean it, but there are a lot of occasions where I think that if you watch the video, you'll know that like, I might have brought you in with something spicy, but eventually, at the point of the video is like, maybe we don't need to be that worked up about this.
I get, I think people, I mean, your thumbnails are art, and I don't mean they're good or bad, but they work. Do you make them yourself? Do you hire someone?
No, I have a guy named Ben that does them for me. And oftentimes I'll get comments like, there's zero chance your actual video will live up to the thumbnail. Like,
well, how fast do you have an editor or no? You don't need an editor because okay.
No, I have two guys that do like sometimes I do like meme intros.
Yes.
Two editors that do that, but they don't. I one take every video I've ever done.
Right. And Ben must be fucking fast though, because if you get 5 to 7 a day and the news breaks at noon and the video's up at 1, is he just full time waiting for your call?
They're both, they're all salaried. So
right,
I have
right.
Two editors and a thumbnail person, and I have a personal assistant that handles all my ad deals and stuff.
Right.
And she also is like a bit of a office mom, makes sure that she's great. She's great. She manages the important stuff, the money. Mm-hmm. But so I have a team. We're all in like a Skype group, right? News breaks. Usually I'll say like, okay, editors, here's what I'm thinking of for an intro. Or sometimes I'm like, I don't know, do something funny. And then my thumbnail guy, he's always there. He's ready to rock.
Right.
And he knows when I work. Basically, I try to send him stuff the night before. So because everybody that works for me, they're all around the world. So I have an editor here on the East Coast, my thumbnail guy and my voiceover guy, they're in the UK. So they're 6 hours ahead of me. So then I'll try to get them topics the night before I go to bed, so that I wake up and I've got 3 or 4 thumbnails, I've got 3 or 4 intros. Okay. And then so it's a pretty well-oiled machine.
It's clear. I mean, uploading that frequently is and I mean, I as a very small YouTuber, I look at my stuff and I go, the work ethic, even though I don't agree with you on a lot of things politically at all, the work ethic is so admirable. That it's just like, holy fuck, man, 5 to 7 videos a day. Now, to be fair, I'll look at him and go, he's just reading the news. I'm like, but I'm like, what what is it? What's the secret sauce for you? Because there's no editing. You're not a sexy lady. You're a dude that most people can relate to, not in terms of politically, but in terms of you're just some guy. You look like some normal guy. That may be it.
That's the sauce.
Normal guy reads the news. That's the sauce.
Yeah.
Interesting.
This guy tells me what's going on in the world, so I don't have to. Most people listen to my videos. They don't even watch them. Yeah. Because there's not a lot to see.
Right,
So they'll put them on in their cars when they come home from work, or while they're on their break, or while they're on their lunch break. These are my viewers. So they're like, frick, I don't want to scroll Twitter and see what's going on. Recording will tell me what's going on. I'm a news aggregator. And like oftentimes,
I mean, pop culture news aggregator, right?
Correct.
You're not, okay.
I don't do hard politics.
Right.
Yeah. My viewership, I would think tend to skew conservative.
Yeah, I think so.
But like, I don't.
I read that you called yourself, I wrote it down. It was crazy. I was like, really? He thinks of himself that way? What did you call yourself?
Classical liberal?
I get that.
Okay, so you're old enough. You're an old lump of coal like me.
Mm-hmm.
If I told you, okay, let's just go back to when we were both young and handsome.
Mm-hmm.
I'm anti-corporation. I'm anti-censorship, pro-free speech, pro gay marriage,
mm-hmm.
pro-environment. What would you call me?
Yeah, I don't know, but I certainly wouldn't.
I
wouldn't put you in a MAGA hat.
Right. I'm saying, like, these are my core.
Am I right in reading that you were raised by gay dads? Is that right? Is that a joke?
Yeah.
Oh, I saw it on the Wikipedia. I'm like, he was raised by three gay dads. So
three gay black dads. Yeah,
right. It was the black dads.
Yeah.
Okay, but
because go ahead.
No.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm super pro gay marriage. I think anybody who's an adult, a lot of my opinions come down to what the government says when you're 18, because that's the reality.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like, it becomes this thing for me where it's like, it's not whether or not I agree with it. It's like, you're 18, as long as you're not hurting anybody else or infringing on anybody else's rights, you do you. That I'm very much you do you. So there are, like boomer cons, I hate.
I don't know what boomer con. Oh,
like old
conservative. Yeah.
Yeah, old, like, I'm not a Bible thumper. I'm not a war hawk. I hate war. I hate it. Which is really, a lot of people say you voted for Trump. That was like, most people are like a 1 or 2 issue voter. When he was like, no more new wars, I'm like, thank you. Because like, for me, I'm anti-war, I'm anti-censorship, immigration. Here's a mind, people think I'm super pro immigration. I want to have a much better path to citizenship. I don't want millions of people putting their life on the line, getting raped, and all this horrible stuff that happens to women when they cross the border on the southern border. I don't want that. I want to have a nice, clean system for people to come here, because that's what this country is all about.
So do you ever find your content running afoul of that, and you have to make a choice between,
No, I'm always honest.
You feel always honest. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, there are times, I think the question you're asking is like, there are times that I share my opinion that it pisses off my viewers, a chunk of them. Right. Most people that have been watching me long enough know kind of where I land on stuff. But like, I'm fiscally conservative because it's almost impossible not to be if you run your own business, or if you're dealing with this. It's very difficult unless you have immense wealth and you can afford to be very progressive, and you have a team of accountants that can make sure you never pay your fair share.
Right.
But like, there are very few issues that are like traditionally conservative that I agree with. Although I'll say, like, for me, I don't know if this is true for most people, but kind of like when you're like 18, 19, 20, that's when you kind of, it's like a snapshot of what's a liberal, what's a conservative for me. So when I was 18, I think the first person I voted for might have been, was it Nader? I think I voted third party my first time.
Right.
Because it was like, 2 turds.
Right. And Nader was saying some very smart things about consumer.
I liked him. Yeah, I liked him. And he was anti-establishment and anti-corporation. Like, these things, when I was 18, I was like, yeah. I still am that. I'm still that way. If there was a legitimate libertarian candidate that would ever come about, which will be impossible, they would have my vote. I hate like boomer old conservative stuff. And so it's a weird thing that people keep saying, just because I'm free speech, then I must be right wing, which is what, whether you know this or not, platforming. I looked at, you had, Sargon on, and you had, obviously you have me. This is why people call you right wing, Dave. It's because you're willing to have the conversation.
Well, that's like I said, it's interesting.
Become a right wing issue. It sucks, but it is.
It is, but it's really weird because I'm not torn on my support of free speech. I'm absolutely, like you, an absolutionist, but I understand. I'll give you an example. I watched a little bit of the opening of this documentary called No Safe Spaces with Prager and Adam Carolla. Yeah. And I watched maybe the first 10 or 20 minutes, and my ex is super liberal too, and she was over and the kids were around. We said, I want to show you this. It's interesting. And I said, okay, but you can't disagree with them. They're not saying they don't like gay people or black people or this, that. They're just talking about freedom of speech, blah, blah, blah. And what my ex said to me, and I was like, that's a really good point. She's like, if you're a straight, white, cisgendered male, which I am all those things, it's easy to complain about, well, where's, you're taking away my free speech. And it's not that it's not true, but the people who aren't trying to take your free speech away, but the people who are pushing back are the ones who are like, yeah, but you know what? We don't get to live in your white cis het world. We're, being trampled upon, marginalized, all this. And it's like, to them, they're going, the free speech is great if it works for you, but it's not helping us. And so why should we care,
Interesting. Well, don't you, I would have,
Jeremy, I need you to do me a huge favor.
What's up?
Save the thought.
Yep.
Entertain the audience for 2 minutes. I have to go open the door.
Dogs.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, Dave doesn't read the chat, but I do. And so let me write down this issue, because I was going to say that I think social media is a great equalizer, which I'll say for him. I think, I appreciate Dave's honesty and his willingness to bring me on one way or another. Okay, so I'll stop talking about erotic stories. Okay, so I was just giving you a compliment while you were gone.
Oh, cool. So I'll rewind it back.
Yeah, and make sure you edit that out. I want that getting out.
Absolutely.
But, yeah, I see that point of view. So you just to remind people, you were saying like, hey, freedom of speech is something worth fighting for. However, some people don't have freedom of speech even. They're so oppressed. Is that the point they were making?
I think it's that they're saying what I hear from them is all that's great intellectually, but without any guardrails up to protect us, our quality of life is not your quality of life. So it's one thing to say freedom of speech is the hill you die on, but we don't even get to stand on the hill and choose to die on it half the time, because we're getting the shit kicked out of us, whether it's financial issues or.
Yeah, that's fair, but that's also whataboutism. There are always somebody who has it worse than straight white guys. Like, this is a reality that I understand. Also, I will say that there have been great strides in terms of getting voices heard, and perhaps the greatest equalizer of all is not any law that's ever passed, but it's the popularity of social media. I think it's truly a great equalizer.
I think if we can survive it and learn how to be okay with the negatives of it, I think it's wonderful. We're not evolved enough. I mean, we're probably 100 years, 1,000 years away from going, okay, now we know how to handle the fire hose of data that comes at us. I mean, people are like, oh, it used to be easier. Yeah, but it used to be very manipulated. I mean, now it's still manipulated in a lot of ways, but you have an ability to at least suss out the truth. Before, it's like, government says this, I'm Walter Cronkite, I'll report it, and it's like,
that's true. When you only had 60 Minutes and you only had your nightly news, that's why I think one of the great positives that has come out of social media is that we're getting real-time reporting.
Yeah.
But it's also one of the greatest negatives that we're getting, a 30-second clip of something that, we missed the 10-minute run-up to when this person pushed another person, and it's used by all sides.
It is. And it creates I think the scariest thing right now is it creates a narrative that really, from my experience anyway, both in terms of research and living, isn't accurate. I'll give you a good example. I was listening to your show today, or one of your shows today. I forget what her name is, but she's that's why I was getting the story mixed up. The trans activist who is like, hey, let's send out these pills to people in states where that's now illegal. And I am a very big LGBT supporter. I have gay folks in my family. I have a trans son. It's absolutely just sort of doesn't even occur to me to go, why would you care, about someone, but the narrative that I have seen form on the critical side of any of this stuff is like, it's not like one or two cases of like, this guy was fucking weird in Georgia. What the fuck are these two guys doing in Georgia trying to get,
oh my God.
Right.
Yeah. That was so
bad. It's terrible. Don't do that. What are you talking about? Arrest him or whatever.
That's going to be used against the gay community.
Right. But I mean,
I see that too.
But you kind of did it too, right? I mean, you painted this story today about this woman. And yes, no matter what the drug is, whether it's, hormone or crack cocaine, whatever the fuck it is, if you're sending it across state lines or even selling it in general, it's probably not legal. And yeah, of course she should be, imprisoned or arrested or whatever it is,
or at least stopped.
But what? But what it does though is, and maybe I'm wrong, and maybe this wasn't your intent, but when I listened to the show today, and certainly I'm coming at it from a very directed,
super compromised.
That's right. Yeah. But when I listened to it, it didn't sound like your beef. It sounded like your beef was two things. One was, hey, this is an illegal act. Let's not do that. I got that. Right. Makes sense.
That's fair. That's right.
The other one, though, was that illegal act or not, giving certain kids this medicine if their parents want to give it to them. Like you see, I know. You didn't say it, but it seems
without
like
their parents' consent.
Okay, so you disagree with the laws that are being passed in states where if the parents in Florida or Alabama want to work with their child and say, hey, we think this is the best course of action, you think the government should be able to tell that parent, like they are in Florida and like they are in Alabama and Texas, you're going to go to jail. And if you're a doctor prescribing that and the parent says it's okay, you're going to go to jail too.
No, I don't think the government should be telling anybody what to do as a standard position. What I do worry about greatly, and again, I'm at a disadvantage because I don't have a trans child and you do. So you can speak directly to it and I cannot.
And that's the danger, is that you cannot, but you do. Not just you, Jeremy, but that, and the left does it too. I'm not beating up on the right. I'm just saying that the danger of social media has been, or the negative has been, that these isolated cases become the representation for the entire story.
Well, that's fair. And that's fair. But just so people know my position is, I think when you're under 18, you shouldn't be taking any hormone treatments. That's my position, because I worry that, you may be a great super progressive dad who gets their kid and doing whatever, but I worry about, because, when I was young, I did a lot of things when I was 15 years old that I don't do now. I have tattoos all over my arm that I regret.
Right.
So that's my position. Perhaps it wasn't as laid out with the nuance, but like, in terms of, do people go to jail, this and that, I don't know about all that.
Okay. But
I worry, in particular, this particular activist is not the first one that I've had a run in who talks about, hey, I'm gonna get pills into kids' hands who whose either parents aren't for it or it's illegal or they can't get it. That's a, first of all, liability nightmare.
Sure, of course, for a lot of reasons.
And like, when you're on a platform that is, you're openly saying this stuff, like, hey, contact me, I'll get you drugs. There's only one group of people on the planet that can get away with saying that. If I were on Twitch right now talking about, hey, you want
Well, they're going to jail probably. They're not getting away with it, are they? Yeah.
Maybe,
Right.
And by the way, if she hasn't actually sent it, it could just be a clout thing.
Right.
I wasn't born yesterday.
Let me, I want to tell you my position on this. And I don't want to get into a debate on it. You have your right, and I have my right, but I'm curious if
I'm not telling you how to raise your kid.
Absolutely.
That's what my position is.
Someone who comes at it from that perspective, though, I want to share my perspective and go, does that change anything or not really? Because so my take is this: I absolutely understand. I wish it came without the vitriol of like, or the flowery language of like, you're letting these children butcher their body. I'm sure in the chat, if I looked at the chat right now, it's like, you're letting them butcher their body and all this shit. And it's like, okay, that aside though, I understand what you're saying. When you're young, you don't know, blah, 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 blah. And who knows if you'll regret it. And it's almost like an issue like child abuse, where it's like, yeah, we don't want to tell you how to raise your kid, but you're abusing your child in our minds, and we need to step in and call child protective services. But I'll tell you our experience real quick, which was basically we had a child, ray of sunshine, happy, excited, confident. Around adolescence, he started to be very anxious, very uncomfortable, withdrawn. We did about a year of therapy, like normal therapy. They thought it was an anxiety disorder. Nothing really helped. And then eventually we were sitting at dinner one night and he came out to us and he says, hey, I'm trans, right?
How old?
He was 14 when he came out as trans. And so we spent the next year with him talking to medical doctors and talking to two therapists. One was sort of a general therapist, and one was a therapist that specialized in trans kids.
Sure.
Okay, so we wanted to cover our bases and really make sure if he wanted to go.
Did he make any proclamations at that time, like, "Hey, I want to go on blockers"?
Yeah, he wanted to do all of it.
Okay.
And we said, okay, well, we need to be responsible about this. What if you change your mind, and what if you regret it, and all this? So let's talk to therapy, let's talk to doctors, let's research all this stuff. And the process for us was, because the thing I think a lot of people who beat up on the trans parents or the parents of trans people don't understand is that age between like 12 or depending on the kid, 13 to 18 to 17, whatever. Those years are so crucial to that kid's self-esteem and how they feel they fit in, and how bullied they are or not, and if they have friends and all this stuff. And we had to weigh the psychological damage that was already being done because he was sort of living this lie, at least the way he felt about himself, with the possibility that one day he may go, I want to change my mind. And we said, well, end of the day, and we baby stepped it with him. We said, okay, let's just start with, the way you present. And then let's look at hormone blockers. And then, so it wasn't like all at once, right?
Yeah.
And every step made him happier. Every step made him freer. And so at the end of the day, we were like, well, we can get rid of this happy kid that has come back to us in the world, or we can say, yeah, you have to wait till you're 18 and spend the next 4 or 5 formative years of your life shoved into a hole. And so I'm not saying you would choose what we chose, but the fact that the narrative is to paint people like us as these monsters that don't love our kids, and we're trying to force this on our kids. And like, why ask yourself that if you loved your child, why would you force a child to be any of the LGBT letters? Because society isn't kind en masse to them. Why would I, without that, right? I mean, so speak to that, because I'm curious, based on your perspective and mine, how do you respond to that?
Well, I think social media clout is a hell of a drug, first of all. And I think that there are parents out there. I mean, I just saw a gender reveal for a 4-year-old who said they decided that they were a boy instead of a girl. So I think that there are extremes on all sides that we can just, like,
do you have a kid?
No, I don't.
I'm almost wondering if you had if I had a 1 to 13-year-old, I'd say, okay, you think you're the opposite than what you were born as. Fine. You can present that way.
Just be supportive, right?
Yeah, present that way, play with dolls. I don't give a fuck, but we're not doing anything about it. Right.
Right. So right up until like irreversible surgeries happen, we're probably the same.
Okay.
Like, I literally don't care. Like, first of all, if I had a gay son, don't care.
Right.
If I had literally, like, I'm not this like cringe hyper, like, oh my God, what did I do wrong? No. People are just gay or they're not gay.
Right.
That's how they're born. If they're either trans or they're not trans, I don't care. I think if it were my kid, I probably don't know. Right. Like, if they came out to me when they were 15 and I was like, bro, you got to wait till you're 18. I'll take you on your 18th birthday to get all the whatever's pills you want.
Right.
But like, until you're 18, I think that's where my position was. Now, if my kid ends up suicidal and I have no
which a lot of them are.
Right. I guess that's not like a happenstance that I mentioned that. Right. I don't know, because I don't want my kid to kill themselves,
Of course.
And so I sympathize with parents in that position, because most of us are just making the best of a pretty new scenario, pretty new, the very few people have dealt with. I think that if when you start talking about somebody who's in their teen years, that's definitely a lot different to me than somebody who's 8 or 9.
Sure.
So there's a big nuance. When you also talk about having, parents approving top surgeries or bottom surgeries for their kid before they're 18, that I don't agree with ever. Because that is something that you literally can't go back on. At least there was a new report that conservatives were pushing last week about hormone therapy causing problems long-term. I'm not a doctor, so I can't speak to it. But in a world where hypothetically you want puberty blockers, and if you hypothetically could go off them and not have any long-term effects, I'm not your parent, so whatever.
Right, but are you opposed to other parents Like, can you look at me and say, if I decided and my ex decided to do top surgery, for example, would you say that shouldn't be allowed, or just like, yeah, I just don't agree with that? But of course they should be allowed.
If we were like bros, I would be like, dude, you should really just wait. You know, like if we were just having a conversation, like, I mean, I'm not calling the cops on you.
Well, you can't. Like, I mean, you can't, but you know.
No, but I'm just saying.
Unless
like,
I'm in Florida.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
But I mean, like, I'm not as familiar with those particular laws as you obviously are. But like, you know, I'm not calling the cops. I just think, you know, I got tattoos on my arms I got when I was 18 that I regret. I didn't cut my dick off. Like, I think like the surgery stuff makes me, it's a big, I'm really like,
I understand.
Oh my God, like,
and
this is an irreversible thing.
I totally get that anxiety and fear around it. And I wish there was a way to communicate to that other side that feels that way, and then not just feels that way, but chooses to sort of cartoonify the parents of these kids as sort of, you know, comic book villains that are like mutilating their kids. I think it's when you see the suffering and the pain that your child is in, and you see how just that beautiful light that you adore so much, and you see that they are happy when they are presenting as this other thing, and then you do the work and you go through a year and a half of therapy and it's still the same, and you're like, nope, sorry, I don't need you to change your mind. I just wish that side of the argument or the position would go, maybe don't change your mind, but at least appreciate that it's not as black and white when you're actually in the trenches as it seems, because it's your child, man. I mean, you would jump in front of 20 buses happily to make sure they're happy.
Well, maybe there's a middle ground where, you know, what would you say if there was like, hey, you can do, so we're onto the life altering surgeries part of the conversation. Yeah. Okay. So, you know, if there was some sort of minimum, like, hey, you've got to go to therapy.
100%. 100%.
Right. Okay. So like we would maybe agree, there might be a middle ground there is what I'm saying. Like, I don't want somebody deciding that they're going to remove their child's genitals because because they've said, hey, they want to be a cool mom or a cool dad.
Right. But I mean, do you think, isn't that weird narrative? Do you really think in most cases the parents of trans kids are literally, I'm not saying that doesn't exist, but do you think that's the norm, or is that the exception that gets blown out on social media?
Everything's the exception that gets blown out on social media. I mean, I think that's fair to say. You know, I think that a dad like you is hopefully the norm.
I hope so too.
But what the laws are there to do is prevent the outliers from happening. So if the laws are written in a way that's like, because I mean, there are all sorts of laws of what you can't do when you're a minor. I mean, like,
absolutely,
almost everything in this country. My opinion, though, is if I can go fight and die for my country, then I can do whatever the heck I want.
Right.
You know, like,
I agree.
I think if you're 18 and you can draft me, then I could do whatever I want.
I can drink, I can smoke.
Right.
Fuck you.
Right.
Yeah.
Get whatever I want. They should be able to rent a car too. But so like, I think that when we're talking about surgeries, it's super nuanced, which is not made for 144 characters. I think we would agree that there absolutely are weird. I don't think, oh God, I hope there aren't parents that are putting their kids through surgery for social media clout. But when I see like, this is my gender reveal for my 4-year-old, he's like, that's somebody who's deranged. Addicted to social media.
I don't disagree. But
so,
I do question.
We're not that far apart.
I just question, you know, are we making policy and are we forming massive numbers of people having an opinion based on a very dramatic, over-the-top scenario versus the actual way it really is out there?
Well, you mean like school shootings? And how we're trying to litigate because of that happening? You know what I mean? Like, that's the extreme.
Sure.
and that drives all the Second Amendment talk, right? I don't like
does.
that either.
Oh, I know. I'm not anti-gun, but look, let's put it this way. I would love to have a couple of regulations on the Second Amendment, just like we have on the First Amendment, but we don't seem to be willing to entertain any of those. But
I'm a shall not infringe guy on that. But I mean, right. I'm just saying to the juxtaposition is that right, like the.
But you're right. That is blown out more because people make money. It's tragic, but it's also tragic that the week before, where was this last shooting in Texas? There was there was a story of like 12, 13 kids killed in Chicago over that weekend.
Every weekend there.
Yeah, right.
I know. I agree.
So
Chicago's bad. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Okay, let's talk about something even more serious: the movie Prey.
Okay, yeah. Let's.
So I was surprised because I saw a lot of people this morning saying, "Oh, I forget what her name is, Nuni or Nani or whatever." The
main actress,
right?
Yeah.
The main actress. She's great. She's a Mary Sue.
Yeah.
And I was like,
oh yeah, right.
And I was like, really? And you tweeted something, and I said, oh, my first response was, you must have hated this movie. But then you said, no, you actually liked it more than I did. You gave it like a 7.5. I had issues with it, but I enjoyed it. And I certainly enjoyed her. I thought she was fantastic in the role. But on the whole, though, your channel does seem to have a lot of, She-Hulk is bad and Kathleen Kennedy at Lucas is bad. And, why is Prey different than She-Hulk? Or
Sure. Okay. That's a fair question. It's because it's good. I mean, I think it's because they put in the work. I think that I could make an argument of why Rey is a Mary Sue. And it takes so little work, David, to make to give me a training montage, to give me her failing once or twice, and then you're not a Mary Sue. It's super easy. It takes like in a 90-minute movie, which by the way, every movie should be 90 minutes. No more of these stupid 3-hour movies. You have a little training.
Alexa,
montage.
Remind me to call Spielberg about Schindler's List. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah. They could have had a part 2.
Right.
But I think, for me, and I even argued against her being a Mary Sue. I said, okay, she had plot armor, like literally every actor in every movie, including Arnold Schwarzenegger in the original Predator. Okay.
Right.
So, plot armor is a thing. I did not think, and like, for example, when I showed you that tweet, I was like, if he looks down, he'll see that I didn't send you that, but I'm like, I literally pushed back against my own viewers. I was like, bro, she wasn't a Mary Sue. I watched the movie.
Right.
She definitely wasn't. They established that she was basically, Apache Indian who was like already kind of trained.
Right.
Well, they kind of said like, okay, she can fight. And like they had the training. They had obviously had the training montage, multiple training montages.
Right.
And she had a physical fight with a man that she lost.
Right. And half the fucking tribe beat up on the Predator first.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, it wasn't like she was getting a fresh Predator.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And so like, and really she took him down because of her brother's sacrifice too. They played it perfectly.
Yeah. And her tactical abilities and her brains and his just physical strength. It was great. It was fucking great.
She figured, I thought it was genius how she had, and there were so many member berries that like most people just like, I think, and I say this in my videos all the time, please, I said even today, I said, come on guys, we can't be because it's a female lead, it's woke. Don't do that because that's what they want you to do.
Well, that's that's what we see y'all doing. It's not that I want you to do it. I just see it.
I literally don't though. I mean,
I'm not saying you. I'm saying that you see a lot of, Miss Marvel sucks. Well, Miss Marvel's a good show. What's wrong with Miss Marvel?
It's a YA show. It's not for me. When I covered Miss Marvel, I basically said, hey, it's just not for me. Whatever.
Right. Okay.
But like I've softened a little bit. Like I don't, like I understand like She-Hulk is not for me. I make a video about it. It's like, oh, people are whining about the CGI. The showrunner said, well, you complain anyway because she's a woman. That's a video where I'm like, bro, don't do that.
Right.
Like, just don't do that. Just don't say that. And you'll totally kill the click economy around they're shitting on the fans kind of thing.
Right.
So I think Prey was it's not a masterpiece, but as somebody who liked Predator and has seen a dozen terrible Predator movies,
right,
it was a breath of fresh air. And it's not like she went in there and just kicked his butt. And there were cool scenes, like the flintlock, most people won't pick up, like from Predator 2.
Oh yeah, I didn't know
Yeah.
what that was for when he looked at it and there was a name. I'm like, I don't know what that was.
That's a callback to Predator 2.
Okay.
And then the whole like where she's like in the corner, like, come on,
with the
like just with the helmet thing. And like
the shot with he has his shield and he's shoving it into the rocks and her neck's right there. Yeah. Was awesome. I wished it was gorier. It almost felt like it was a PG-13 movie. And I'm like, this is not an R movie. I want to see this motherfucker go ape shit, and it's all off camera.
Yeah, right. They showed him ripping spines, but then they cut away from it, which was weird. It almost made him seem a little less scary.
Yes, it did.
Like, and right. I don't actually. Was it rated R?
Yes, I had to go check, and I'm like, this is R. And the blood's obviously CG, so they probably shot it not knowing if it was going to be a PG-13 or an R. They got their R, and it'll just pump up the blood, but it looks so fake. But anyway, okay, but you haven't seen She-Hulk yet. So if you just take Ray, you do think these folks have a valid complaint about, let's just say a super progressive agenda infusing entertainment. You would agree with that?
Well, it's not even a question. I mean, that's a fact. We've known because Disney has said this. We have, essentially Amazon has literal quotas. The Oscars have literal quotas for what they give awards to. Right. They say it has to have this, that, and that. And you kill art that way. Mm-hmm. You can't tell a director that you must have X percentage of this and X percentage of that, X percentage of this, and then expect me, the consumer, to believe that you've cast the right person for every role. Maybe you did. Okay, but
I understand if you're looking at it from a pure art form, you're right. But you must be aware, and most of your audience must be aware, that 90% of the reason people get cast in movies, even back in the 80s and 90s, had nothing to do with, is Tom Cruise really the best for Maverick? Or is he just a star that they can afford, that's a big enough star that they can justify the budget? There's always an ulterior motive unless you're talking about a semi-almost financed indie film.
Yeah, that's true. I agree. When you're talking about corporate media, though, corporate content, there have been a lot of great indie films that I really like. By the way, if you haven't seen it, I keep singing its praises, but The Black Phone, I thought. Oh,
I heard it's awesome. Great. I have not seen it yet.
The child actors, I wouldn't watch it with your kids. Well, maybe. The child actors, the little girl that plays in that movie, amazing.
Right.
Now, I don't know if they ran this through the filter, so to speak. But when we talk about like big productions like Amazon, they literally come out and say like, hey, we needed to reimagine, or we needed to, and it's not. Oh, like Lord
of the Rings stuff?
I'm sorry, Lord of the Rings, the new Lord of the Rings show. So like, here's the nuance that never gets translated to the people that would disagree with me. I don't believe, and I've never believed, that simply having a woman makes something woke or political. And I don't believe that that Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power, is inherently worse because it's more diverse. What I do believe, though, is that when that is a focus of showrunners and things of that nature, we live in where creativity and time is a commodity. Mm-hmm. And if you're worried about the color of people's skin and not the best person for the role, it fails. We've seen this with, for example, Batgirl, terrible writing. Not Batgirl, Batwoman. Mm-hmm. Terrible writing, which is what really killed that show, I believe. But it was like Ruby Rose left, and they're like, oh, well, we have a Jewish lesbian woman. Now let's make sure we get a black lesbian woman. And it's like, you read everything the writers say, you read every article about the show. It's like, this is the first woman to ever do anything ever. And it just, I think that we get away from focusing on, actually, hey, this is a pretty campy show. It's funny. It's whatever. You don't see articles like that. You just see, oh, well, this is a black dwarf, and this is why you should watch it, because you want to prove that you're not a racist. And obviously I'm paraphrasing, but it's a concern that I think I do. I'll also say I do believe that groups of people are underrepresented, mm-hmm. and that have been historically looked over. And I do believe racism exists. What I worry about is an overcorrection. That's all I'm saying. Like, Nope, I thought wasn't a very good film, but it had nothing to do with this color of the actors of the skin. Oh my God, skin color of the actors. I thought Get Out was very good. I thought Us was not.
Us was good. Just okay. Yeah.
It was just okay.
Yeah.
It was fine. But like Nope was also just okay. But like, I thought they did some cool stuff with the CG. Did you see it?
I haven't seen it.
Okay, well, they have some cool CG with like the big baddie, we'll say.
Okay.
I thought I'd never really seen that before. I thought that was cool. So I mean, like, it's ridiculous to reduce my opinion down. I'm not saying you are, but like, it's like, oh, black people in film, it's political. Like, there's that meme with my face on it that
I haven't seen
a billion retweets.
Right.
It's like, oh, there's a woman. Oh, you made it political. It's my face.
Okay.
But like, that's not my opinion. My opinion is like, okay, well, how do you treat it? You bring Rey Skywalker in, maybe have her fail once, maybe, and then like, I think people would be more, there's always going to be people that hate it, but I think more people would accept it if it's just not like, oh, I'm just like, oh, Captain Marvel, I'm just the most powerful I'm more powerful than every other Avenger, period. Most people have never even heard of me. And I'm just going to take down Thanos' ship by flying through it, and I'm going to fly off the screen. Like, I don't think they handle that well. I think they try to shortcut it too much, and they try to say like, oh, people like strong characters, so we're just going to make this character super strong, and they're going to super like him. I don't think that works.
It is one of those things. I think that you have people that are just trying. It's almost like the message has finally gotten out there to almost everyone of something doesn't seem fair about the way we communicate our entertainment and we tell our stories, right? Well, Hello. Look at the pussy. Today's International Cat Day. Thank you for showing us your pussy, Jeremy.
Oh, is it? I didn't know.
I think it depends on whatever Twitter says.
Okay.
But I think most people look at it and say, yeah, there is a correction needed. I think for me, where I come down on it is, again, I don't know why this is a comfortable or compelling space for my brain to park itself in, but of going, okay, I'm 51. I grew up with all the media pretty much for me. All the heroes, all the action stars, all the comedies. It's all a bunch of white guys like me. And I'm kind of like, you know what? I'm good. I'll take a seat. Maybe, not even maybe, absolutely in certain cases, what you're saying, the reason they do it isn't the most artistic. And sometimes it is, and sometimes it's in the middle, and
sometimes it's natural,
right? And sometimes it's not, but it still makes a good movie. But it's almost like, and it's clear you don't feel this way, and that's fine. Obviously, I just don't feel like it. Almost feels to me, for me personally, vulgar to have an opinion on it right now. It's like these are groups we're talking about that have been so put upon for so long that it's just like, you know what? Do your thing, man. I'm good. I've had 40 something, 50 years of Luke and Indiana Jones and Han Solo and Peter Parker and Thor and white and male and straight. I'm full up. I don't need a seat at the table right now. But that's me. That's why I think I give it a much wider of like, it's not my place to talk about. But that's just
it's not my place to talk about a lot of things, but it's kind of my job. So like, I can't say that, I would, I understand where you're coming from, but I wouldn't let like somebody else's decisions historically silence me or make me feel like I can't speak on something.
They don't. I'm just saying that my position is, I kind of don't have a position. I'm glad to see these people represented. When they tell me that they feel, whether you're talking about LGBT or black folks with Black Panther or whatever, that, hey, or Miss Marvel with a Muslim, hey, it's just cool to right. Yeah. I'm like, and look, I'm not Jewish, but I was raised Jewish. And when I saw as a kid Ben Grimm the Thing in Fantastic Four was a Jewish guy, celebrates Hanukkah, I'm like, that's cool. We got one, folks. We got ourselves a hero.
Magneto too.
He's a bad guy. No, I'll take Ben Grimm any goddamn day of the week. But anyway, I hear you. Let me get to a last couple questions and we'll go to the audience. Is that cool?
That's fine. Do you mind if I grab a drink quick?
No.
You just hold on for like 2 minutes.
I'll hold down the fort.
I gotta go pee in my basement drain. Hold on.
That's right. Oh yeah. All right, fellas. I'm looking at the questions I've got. I'm ignoring the chat, but we're in about 5-10 minutes. We will get chat questions. and we will get phone calls. If you want to call on the Discord, I will put the link to the Discord. It may already have gone up, but regardless, here it is. I'm putting it in the YouTube chat, and you can join it, and then you put yourself in the call-in waiting room, and you'll be good to go. And we'll bring you on as long as Jeremy has the time to talk to everybody that you guys want to talk to. In the meantime, let me look at the chat real quick while Jeremy's drinking. I've got a lot of my questions answered. Is there any question that anybody really wants me to ask as soon as possible? Like, you don't want to miss it, because I have time while he's away to look at them. Rathy, the chat has been wild. I'm sure. So like my big Greek therapy session says, thank you for the super chat, buddy. He says, can we please not sanitize Jeremy? He's a gateway to bigotry and far right extremism. I'm not sanitizing anybody. I'm asking him questions and he's answering. I mean, how is he being sanitized, sir? Okay, Bacon, I'll ask him about Cuties. Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, well, I know Review Tech Rich is going to call in already. So I think I'm not going to ask Rich's question. I'll let Rich do that for himself. Where are these claims coming from, Sebastian? Which claims, champion? I call my kids champion to annoy them, and then it just has entered my vernacular, and I, then it just stays in my vernacular. All right, somebody. Okay, there. Okay.
Your chat is seething, man. It's gonna be a good call.
Have you been looking at it? I haven't been looking.
Always watch it. Yeah,
it's too distracting for me. I just can't. Let me make sure I've got all my pressing questions. I hate how people look. One thing I will defend you on is the whole clickbait thing. I mean, people accuse me of clickbaiting. And my thumbnails
of course I do.
And I'm like, it's marketing. It's like, as long as what's on the other side of the video is not a lie, what should I put? Like, when you go to the grocery store, when I was a kid, they used to have generic cereal or generic products that just said cereal. It's like video about the quartering. And it's just black and what do these people? I mean, I think that's bullshit. They really just don't like the content.
Yeah. It's one of those bad faith. Like, if you ask my viewers, they will say, yes, he absolutely clickbaits, but he always has, like, it's not like I'm like, woman takes top off at gaming convention. It's like not there. Like, that's clickbait. I just have,
you have marketing.
Attractive titles.
I mean, at that point, it's like, oh, I saw the trailer for this movie and I want to see it. That's clickbait. It's like, no, it's a trailer, you moron. Okay, let me see. You do not think, this is my last question that I have. Yeah. You do not think the quartering isn't a character. It's not Alex Jones. This is you consider when you go on the that's you.
That's me.
That's you.
Yeah. I don't hide behind that. I make mistakes. Perhaps I speak out of turn, or I'm wrong, which I am wrong about a lot of things. That kind of happens when you run your mouth for 2 hours a day every day.
That's right.
As I would say this, I first of all, I appreciate you. I don't envy the slings and arrows you're going to take for quote unquote platforming an evil man. But I do appreciate, and also obviously the body of work you've contributed to video games is amazing. I appreciate you bringing me on, and I hope that your core. I hope that some of my subscribers, I know there's some watching and that will watch, if they made it this far, whether or not you agree or disagree with David, what I can say is he's given me a significant amount of time on his channel to explain myself, and he hasn't been judgmental or unruly, and that you should probably subscribe to him, because he deserves a chance. I mean, he's broke. He needs subscribers. Look at him. I mean, he's basically homeless.
Yep.
That's actually a green screen behind him. So, I do say, I say that sincerely though. Not that you're broke, but like, I do appreciate that. And the thing is, like, I always am willing to have, because I find that when you have these conversations, most people are a lot closer than they think.
I was stunned when I spoke to that Sargon guy. I mean, I didn't even reach out to him. He was in my chat, and I'm like, "Oh, well, come on, let's talk." And I agree in a lot of ways with that. I wonder, are we falling in love?
Well, I think the first step is that we find
the Olive Garden.
Equidistant Olive Garden.
Ooh,
yeah, that we have to go to.
Okay. Olive Garden is the best. Yeah, and I don't give a fuck what they say about go to real Italy. Fuck you. The Olive Garden.
I could do the tour of Italy.
Olive Garden. The breadsticks, man. It's all about the fucking breadsticks. Yeah, Okay. So I'm going to go into the call-in show. Here's what we're going to do. Let's just make sure this works real quick. I am now in the call-in show room. If you, Jeremy, put yourself in the Discord in call-in waiting, I'll drag you in here.
Okay, hold on.
And then I'll run through the
call-in waiting. There we go.
Yeah, now, okay. So now I think we'll need to mute ourselves on this, but keep the camera going. Can you hear me? You should be getting an echo from me at this point.
Yep, I got it. I muted you. And then I should mute myself too, or no?
Well,
I don't know. I wouldn't normally. No, I'm not going to mute myself.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll mute you, but not me.
And I'm going to mute you here if I can. Because I'm
getting
an echo now.
You want the Discord. Yep.
Audio settings. Actually, you know what? Just mute yourself on Zoom.
I did that. Is this working?
Yeah, that's much, much better. Okay. So let me get some super chats, and then I will go
do your thing. Everyone super chat him some money because
he's broke.
He's homeless.
The God of War money only goes so long, man. Come on.
No, is that IP on Twits and Metal run up yet?
I'll tell you what, man. I wish I got paid for that shit. I mean, after the fact, I got paid great during the fact. Thank God my ex was a brilliant investor. Let me get the super chats that have come in. Okay, we've got Magello says there is nothing nuanced about this guy. He has done nothing but try to soften his absurdity. He's defining gatekeeping. It's embarrassing. Magello, I appreciate the super chat. I appreciate the perspective. I will let you know if you want to super chat in the future. And if you just wanted to say your piece, you've done it. I appreciate it. But I don't know if you've given him any, how would one respond to that? But I appreciate your comment. My big Greek therapy session, thank you for the super chat, says, can we please not sanitize this man? He is a gateway to bigotry and far-right extremism. So let me ask you a question. When you hear that, even though we've had a conversation for about an hour and a half or whatever, is it just like, I can't reach him? I can't.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Everything I've said over the last, hour or so tells you, okay, I don't know what I can say. The alt-right is cringe. Ethno-state is dumb. Racism is dumb. Gay rights, yes. Gay marriage, please. Trans rights are human rights. Yes. Like, what else can I say?
Would you? Here's
so when I see that, I just ignore it.
Would you suck off a hobo for $1 billion, Jeremy? I would.
Yes.
I'm not gay, but I would suck that hobo.
Of course, I would.
All day long. For
one day. Of course.
One day. $1 billion.
As many loads as he has. 1 billion. No questions asked. I'd be there.
Stick it in, you old hobo. That's what I would say. He's got his sack back there, and he's, but listen.
Oh, if he's got a can of beans and a sack full of dreams.
And a little juice heart, So do you, does your wife, you've been with your wife since high school, which is insanely interesting. Does she disagree with you on all this politically, or you guys are peas in a pod?
We don't talk about YouTube ever. And that's why our marriage works.
Really?
I think she doesn't have a Twitter. She's not online. She doesn't watch my videos. She doesn't watch YouTube videos. She's a normie, which is actually awesome.
What you probably need. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't need to go upstairs and be like, so did you see this thing on Twitter? No. I just want to talk about, she just got back from the county fair. She bought a sticker that said, there's some about pets. I'm like, go stick it on my truck. I love it. Nice. That's what I want when I log off.
That's what you need, I guess. Yeah, absolutely. When are you guys going on your date to the Olive Garden? Sasuke says, we're working on it.
Yeah.
Richard has donated $5. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. Very, very kind, very, very generous and courteous. Cody Leach The great Cody Leach, the movie reviewer, says, have the aggressive anti-woke reactions to modern films gone too far? Has the word woke been misused to the point of losing its actual meaning? He wants to know.
Yeah, of course it has. When the New York Post is constantly using it, woke is, I see it all the time where it's used to describe a film with a female lead. And it's frustrating for me, when I see like the Daily Mail and New York Post describing everything as woke. I 100% agree.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that comment. This is from your good buddy who will be on the show, by the way, Thursday.
Oh, I can't wait.
ReviewTechUSA, and he's also going to call in just a second. But he says, thank you for the super chat, buddy. He says, Jeremy, curious why you weaponize canceling other people as you built a brand being anti-cancel culture. Why do you put out lies about people simply because you don't like them? I mean, you can answer it now or you can wait till he calls in. Thank you, Rich, though. I appreciate that, and we will get you on the phone with him in just a second. Okay, last couple ones right now. The Quartering's imaginary black dad wants you to know that I'll show up in the call too. I love my son.
Yes, I miss you, Dad.
Respergru says, thank you, buddy. He says, Rich, ReviewTechUSA is ready to talk. Let's go. Joel Morford of the Connecticut Morford says, would you agree to box Ethan from H3H3 for charity?
Yeah, of course.
There you go. You know who boxes? Sessler boxes. We should get Sessler in a boxing match with you guys.
They have to be like one round.
Yeah.
I'm going to gas for sure. And Ethan too.
Yeah.
I'm not a violent guy.
I'll tell you what,
I'd
who's
rather
a
not,
badass, fuck wrestling. I mean, fuck fighting, but wrestling, that, what's getting Jake Paul? Is that his name? What's that guy?
He's crushing it. Yeah.
Logan Paul
in the wrestling.
I don't even like that guy for the most part in terms of his persona, but he's great in that show.
He's a great heel too.
Yeah. He
really is.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. The one and only, my good buddy, Review Tech. Rich, you were on with your good friend, The Quartering. What's up?
Hey, what's up, Jeremy? How are you? What's up, David? I thank you for being on.
Oh, of course. Looking forward to talking to you Thursday. What's going on?
No, so
I can't hear him.
Oh, wait.
Wait,
he can't hear you. Let me fix it. Hang on.
Okay.
Why would you not be able to hear him? Are you guys?
I got him now. Yep,
all right.
Yep.
Go, Rich.
Okay. Jeremy, for a guy who says he's very anti-cancel culture, you're a pretty cancel-happy guy. Am I not wrong? Haven't you tried to cancel me a few times for things that are a decade old? And on top of it, you put out lies about my family and scamming my parents out of a house I bought multiple times, too. For a person who says he's about the truth, I have receipts that could prove quite otherwise. Why? How is that?
I don't think I've ever asked. I don't think I've ever called for you to be deplatformed. I don't think I've ever gone after your sponsors. I've just responded to you. I'm pretty sure that I've never asked anyone to deplatform you. So I'm not quite sure how you define cancel culture.
Cancel culture is where you actually worked with a former stalker of mine to put out misinformation about me. I know that's how you got those old Facebook posts. You also said you should keep that money for your kids just recently.
You should keep all the money for your kids. I think that's a good investment.
Yeah. You do think that's a good investment?
Yeah.
So you put it out there.
Your kids are a great investment.
Yeah, you put it out there like I don't have access to them, though. Why do you do that? Why would you put out misinformation like that? That's really for a person who says they're the purveyor of truth. Why do you use weaponized lies against people who you don't like, but you'll sit there and want to motorboat Gina Carano and stand up?
Oh no, I like you, Rich. I like you, Rich, a lot. What do you mean?
Is this your life now moment?
I don't understand. I'm not sure what you're actually referring to. You're making a lot of random statements. Is there something specific you would like me to talk about?
Why is it that you have this house of cards on your channel, which you've built to be very tall, where you talk about being, anti-cancel culture, even with takes that I don't agree with. But as soon as your feelings are hurt, man, you will weaponize cancel culture instantly.
But
why?
That's what I'm asking you. Who have I tried to cancel?
You've tried to cancel me.
How? I've never said flag this guy. I've never said deplatform this guy. I've never said unsubscribe from this guy.
You don't have to, Jeremy. You don't have to.
How can I be responsible for something I never said, Rich? That seems weird.
You've never said that I tried to scam my parents out of my house? How's
that cancel culture, Rich?
You could, because if you ruin someone's integrity, that could cancel them. You know how this works, Jeremy. You've done this just as long as me.
No, actually, I don't think so. I don't think that's cancel culture.
And when you found out, and when you've found out that was a lie, why would you continue to perpetuate that lie?
Oh, why would you? Sorry, I'm sorry. Did you describe how I tried to get you canceled yet, or no? I was waiting for that.
I just did multiple times.
Did I tweet at your sponsors like you did to me?
All right, let's not go into meta. I already owned up.
Okay, and then when you got blowback, when we got blowback, then you deleted it. Remember that? Remember that when you tagged Meta PCs and you said that they should unsponsor me? Remember that?
Yeah, Jeremy, I do remember.
Okay, opinion disregarded.
Jeremy, if we were going to do whataboutisms, didn't you not even a year ago just try to get someone did you try to get someone's sponsorship canceled? If that's a whataboutism, yes, you did, and you had to apologize for it.
Rick,
so don't
Rick, look. How did I try to get you canceled?
Jeremy, I just said to you, like, what do you bring that stuff up for? Do you bring it up for to
you said it. Somebody? I didn't say that. I didn't say that. You said that. You said I tried to cancel you.
Do you put out lies about somebody? About their family?
What was the lie you're referring to?
That you said I don't have access to my kids, and that you said that I scam my parents out of the house.
I didn't say that.
Go take care of
you didn't have access to your kids. I never said that.
Well, fellas, I don't think we're going to get anywhere with the.
Yeah, fair enough.
But Rich, I'm very much looking forward to hearing your take on all this and talking to you Thursday, buddy.
Yes.
All right, man. Be well, Rich. I'll talk to you soon, man.
All right, have a good one. Have a good one, Jeremy.
Yeah, have a good one.
Okay, let me get some super chats came through. Where did they go? Here we go. Space Otter says, the quartering has never tried to cancel Review Tech. Rich is pathetic. That's what Space Otter wants you to know. Mr. K says, Jeremy, please give us a Gamergate. I don't know what that is.
Gamergate.
Oh my, there you go. I think he just came in his wife's coffee. Okay. So I'm supposed to ask you what you think about the movie Cuties. I saw the movie Cuties. I don't know if you've ever had any drama about it, but someone said, Bacon Magma, our very own Bacon Magma says, don't forget to ask him about Cuties. I've seen it. I did a review on it. I thought it was a really good movie, a really important movie, a very misunderstood movie. But did you have any drama around that movie, or you even know what it is?
No, I know what it is. Yeah. I mean, I think I definitely covered the backlash to it, where, I feel like definitely they were sexualizing young women, according to Netflix, inadvertently in original marketing.
Right. The marketing, right.
Yeah. I pushed back against the right and said I didn't think it was CP, which is what some people,
what is CP? What is CP?
I didn't want to say it on your channel, but think about it for a second.
Porn?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't think it was like that, and I thought it was kind of cringe that the Texas somebody tried suing them. I think if you're going to have Dave Chappelle's stand up, you can have Cuties, and then people can decide if they want to pay their money to be on pay for Netflix anymore.
Gotcha.
I think that there were some people. Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Ryan Caulfield, Rich looking like a fool, says Ryan. Mike Warner says Rich got 1316 Killer canceled. Fuck is
what
Rich?
Does that mean? I don't know what that means either. Yeah.
Fuck you, Josh Douglas, you fucker. He says, Cuties is unacceptable. Cuties is a great movie about not sexualizing young people. It is about, it doesn't matter. Trust me. Watch the movie and then have an opinion, you fucking moron. Pour one out for the homie RTU, says Darth. Okay, come on. Fuck you, Tacit. Jaffe's a clown too, but he did create the most iconic character. Fuck you. All right, here we go.
Well, that's all right. That's a compliment sandwich.
Yeah, it's a sandwich. That's exactly right. All right, this is our very own Rathy. Rathy, did you want to talk to the quartering? You're on if you do. Rathy.
They're muted, I think.
Yeah, you're muted, buddy. That is really weird, man. I thought we would have a bucket. People are afraid. I thought we'd have a bucket load of people saying, I want to call in and talk to Jeremy. You're very divisive. You're very vocal. You got a lot of fans. And where are they? What do you think's going on with that?
Well, I don't know. My viewers, I think they know where I stand. You know what I mean? Like, I think, they know where I stand. So I think, I don't know. Maybe they're in the waiting room. I don't know.
Maybe you've turned them. All right. This is Scuda. Where the fuck Scuda was just in here.
Here,
right.
I'll send out a tweet 1 second.
But again, I mean, we've talked for a while. It's not necessary, but if you guys want to talk to Jeremy, he's on right now. How do you call in? You put yourself in the Discord waiting room, and you can jump in.
Maybe you didn't explain how to do that.
I'm sorry. I just assume everybody.
I don't think Discord. You mentioned it. Yeah, that's probably what it is. Let
me pop this in for you guys. This is our Discord. Join the Discord. There may be a tiny little bit of a delay, and then you can jump in there. But let me paste this for you guys. There you go.
So you join the Discord, you get in the waiting room.
Or just call me on the fucking phone at this point. Let me open up the phone. That's what we'll do. That'll be easier.
How does that work? You have an app for that or something?
Dude, listen. I am fucking black helicopters and everything.
I can see this. Yeah. Jesus. For a homeless man, you got quite the setup.
I know. I'm telling you, I'm impressive. All right, take me a quick second. Jeff Reck wants you to know he feels dirty. I don't blame you.
Yeah,
you should. Understand. You totally should. You're a fucking scoundrel. Hey, let's talk religion real quick. So I struggle because some of my audience believes in God. And I struggle. Okay, I'm going to pin the phone number to the top of the tweet. I'm going to tell you now, if you call in and Jeremy and I are talking to someone else, please don't call because it's one number and there's no screeners, right? So I'll just hang up on you and it'll be kind of annoying. So just wait till the phone line's open and call in. The phone number 949-954-0569. And I think depending on what we're doing, so right now we're going to bring in some Discord people though. This is.
Wait, you were going to ask me about religion or no?
I will in 1 second. I will. Okay, this is Hesperi Patch.
What's up? How's it going, lads? Hope you're all doing well. Quarterin, I have to put you on the spot here, man, because you're doing exactly what you did with DSP. You're being all buddy. You did say that movie was about sexualizing children. In fact, you were very rampant about it. You were pretty clear about it. But now you're here being all buddy, maybe, you're not very good at the live stuff. You want to be all chum like you did with DSP. You didn't ask him any real questions. Well, I know you're the one being asked the questions now, but
fair enough. Yeah, no, I think, it's difficult to remember the actual videos I made about Cuties, but I definitely didn't watch it. I don't want it on my watch history. Certainly it was not a great movie, but I never saw it. So, I can't say that I want to queue that type of movie up.
You don't want to queue that movie up? No, I've never seen it either. I don't.
Yeah, and I will say that, the DSP thing, a lot of people, I don't know if you know this, David, it's internet lore.
I've heard of this guy, but I don't really know. He gets mad when people stream snipe him or some such shit.
Yeah, he's just been around forever, and people were mad that I didn't hold his feet to the fire, which is what he's referencing. And I understand that completely. I feel like if I could have asked maybe some more direct questions. But also, like, I felt like I wanted to keep him talking, and I felt like if I brought up anything that would, trigger it, I don't know. I could have done better. That's a fair criticism for sure.
All right. Do you play any mobile games?
Raid Shadow Legends.
Oh, yeah. You got to get that pony in there. All right, lads. Thanks.
All right, buddy. Thanks for calling, man. All right, let's bring in Scuda Bandit is back. This is Scuda Bandit. You are on with the quartering. Maybe. All right. Baron O'Beef Dip. You are on with the quartering. What's up? Who's talking first? Somebody go. Baron.
He's there.
Is he? Yep.
Yep.
What's up, bud?
All right. So I guess I've got 2 questions here. My first one is, what was it like being canceled off Tim Pool's show? And the second one is, what do you think about Busch Light Apple?
Oh, these are good questions. Let me answer the first question. Busch Light Apple, perfect for a summer day after, or maybe even a fall day after raking the leaves. I'm a cheap beer guy, so I'll drink whatever. In terms of being canceled off Tim Pool's show, I don't think anything's ever really been officially said about that. I don't suspect they'll be inviting me back, but it's totally not any hard feelings whatsoever.
What did you do? What happened?
Well, this is just my interpretation of it. So, I've been on it before, and then I went back on it for a second time, and one of 2 things happened that made him mad that I don't know. One, he had like an ex-partner that was still living in the house with him that had a stream that I was told was totally fine to go on by people, that work there. So, yeah, you can go on there. So I went on there, and maybe that irked him. Right. I don't know. Because, he paid for me to go out there, and I went on someone else's show that was in the same house. Fair enough. 100% fine. Also, I'm a bit of a, if I'm traveling to go on someone's show, I am on vacation.
Okay.
So I had a couple drinks on the show. I was obviously totally fine, but I showed up at like 6:55 when the show was at 7.
Okay.
And he apparently felt like, I don't know if he felt like I wasn't taking it seriously, or if he was worried that I'm trying to prep, so he just canceled the show. I felt like, dude, I do the same thing you do. I know all the news topics. I don't need time to prepare. I didn't prepare for this stream.
Right.
This is what I do. But I didn't argue with him. I didn't, he said, hey, we're not going to do a show. I said, okay, cool. I went back to the hotel and live streamed instead.
Wow,
so,
interesting. You didn't say why? You didn't say why? Why aren't we going to do a show?
Well, yeah, at the time. Well, no, because I had a feeling he was going to be butthurt because it was like 6:55 and I got up there.
Okay.
And then like everyone was standing around and he's like, we're not going to do the show tonight. And I was like, I felt like too much pride to be like, oh, come on, Mr. Cool, can we please do this? I was like, all right, see you. And I just turned around and left.
Okay. Which one of these YouTube guys that are really big like that, who's got staying power? Like, do you think he's too big for his britches in 2 years no one's going to remember Tim Pool? Or is he a lifer? Like, which one of the ones out there? Are you a lifer? You've been doing it for 15 years?
I'm not. I want to be done like in the next year or two for sure. I've been very careful with how I spend my money. Like, I bank everything I can.
Right.
I think Tim will probably be around because he's very knowledgeable about he stays in his lane. He knows what's cool on YouTube, what isn't cool on YouTube. He's got staying power, I think. Crowder, he's eventually going to get booted off the platform because he just can't help himself. And but he's also so big that he's got like exit velocity where he can, he'll be okay. He can go somewhere else and he'll bring his viewers. Yeah. So I think Tim will be fine long term because he's chosen to burn out to fade away rather than to burn out. But it's going to take a lot of years.
Got it.
So I think he'll be fine. Yeah.
Okay. All right, man. Thank you for the call, Baron.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. Let me bring on Scooter again, and then I'll turn on the actual phone calls. All right, Scooter, is this going to work for us? You there? Scooter McTutor, come on, baby. What's going on? Hang on, let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Let's try this. Scooter, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, look at that. That's weird. It just worked now.
I had to move us into a different room. It's like Discord lets us talk for like 3 or 4 times and it kills it. All right, what's up, buddy? Go.
Hey, man.
I'm sorry. Did you say
I've got an echo.
Don't worry about it.
I apologize.
Just go.
Everything I've heard seems like he's trying to distance himself from the...
All right, I'm sorry to hang up on you, Scooter. We just can't hear you, and it makes no sense.
That was going to be a good criticism, I think.
I get it. Text it to me. This is Since Logic. You were on with the quartering.
Hey, hi, you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay, great. Hey, Jeremy, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right.
So, great. So, I occasionally watch your channel, and especially as it pertains to the Lord of the Rings show that's coming up. And I guess I mean, do you think that the criticism is warranted as it pertains to the casting? And I don't know. I just feel like sometimes there's this obsession with race and gender, and I personally, I just don't see anything wrong with it. I guess I understand in some situations, it seems like mainstream media is appropriating certain things, so to speak. But yeah, I guess that's just my question. Like, since I watch you, I'm just like, I have like a love-hate relationship with when I watch your channel. I enjoy it in some sense, but then it's like,
I appreciate you sticking around even when you don't agree. I'll say there's absolutely a natural obsession from both sides, and I think if you are excited, this is what I'll say. When I say this, when people say, "Oh, I still play World of Warcraft," "Oh, I'm a piece of garbage." Life is short. If you're excited about something, you should be excited about it, and don't let people like me ruin it for you. I don't think we know anything about really what the show is going to look like. If we've learned anything in the past week, it's that Prey was kind of marketed a little too Mary Sue-y, but the movie really wasn't that way. So I think it's probably not warranted, but talking heads are going to talking head, and then we'll know September 2nd if it's any good or not.
That's how it is. Like you said earlier, you guys create content, you create several videos a day. I get. Sometimes I watch, I'm like, is it really that bad? I mean, let's give it a chance. Let's see what happens. If the show comes out and it is all what it seems, because even for me, and once again, I'm speaking as quote unquote African American. I enjoyed the old school Lord of the Rings movies. I own all the PS2 games from back in the day. So even when I saw it, I'm like, and I'm speaking, and I can speak as an African American. I'm like, why is there a black hobbit? What's going on here? Like, where the blue on this?
Well, it's better than the mainstream. I would rather have black hobbits than have the mainstream media continue this. Oh, orcs are representations of black people, so Tolkien was racist. Like they
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, dude, they bring up that if you search that article, like orcs, black people or something, every few years there's always a new article about how Tolkien was secretly racist because so I would much rather have actual black people in the show than have journalists pretend you know what I mean? Now same page there. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Once again, I enjoy your content, and
I'm just confused. I mean, I've read The Lord of the Rings. Did they ever say hobbits weren't black or weren't?
Yeah, they're pretty specific about the skin, how people look.
They colored the tone of the skin. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Thank you for calling. They did cover it. I appreciate it, man.
Thanks. Yeah. Once again, enjoy both your channels, and keep up the good work. Man.
Thanks, sir.
Thanks.
All right, last call from here, then we're going to bring in the phone real quick. Mr. K, did you want to say something? Mr. K, you were on with quartering.
Yeah, I just have two quick things. Jeremy, my first question is, and you kind of already answered this, I think, but I'm just curious, if you made all the money in the world and you were ready to just kind of retire, whatever it is, you're satisfied with what you got, do you think after that point you would ever make another video again?
Oh, of course. I'm addicted. I can't stop. It would probably be some obscure channel about steam engines or model trains or something. But yeah, I don't think I could stop now. I've been creating content for 15 years.
Yeah, I don't think you could either. That's what I thought. So that's one. And then two, I'm going to ask this and then I'm going to hop off the call and watch on YouTube. But what I'm wondering is, and I'm sorry if you guys already talked about this, I've only been here a few minutes, but Jaffe, when there's let's say gay Superman or whatever he is, bi, trans, whatever the new Superman is, when there's things like that, Jaffe calls it, Jaffe's, sometimes gets worked up, that we get worked up, and he's like, what is wrong with inclusion? Why don't you people want to see inclusion? What is wrong with being a kind person and including people and blah, blah, blah. Whereas I think you would say, and I would say, it's kind of pandering at some point. It's too much. It feels shoehorned. It feels like the percentage of whatever LGBT or black or whatever characters in entertainment, like, far outweighs the percentage that they actually are in the population. Almost like it seems excessive. So I'm just curious, like, Jaffe, you too, and you, Jeremy, like, you guys seem to see that differently. Do you have, like, any kind of thoughts about it, any sort of, like, little mini debate with one another about it? Why do you each think what you think?
Okay, thanks,
Cool.
buddy. Thanks. Always good to hear from you. See you soon, Mr. Cape. All right, Jeremy, you want to take? My take on it is
your take is that you don't care, right? You've seen enough white people,
and behind me there are comic books, coming out my butthole. I've read comics since I was a little kid. Comics are they're soap operas. This guy's dead, this guy's alive, this woman did this, then she didn't. They went back in time. They rebooted the universe. It means nothing to me if they want to write an arc of Superman where suddenly he likes the penis. What do I care? I'm not reading Superman to masturbate to and go, oh, I want to watch him fuck Lois. The coolest thing I've ever seen.
You're not?
No, but the coolest thing I ever I think it was a Frank Miller, the third Dark Knight sequel, where he had Superman and Wonder Woman actually fucking in the air and it created sonic booms and it was breaking everyone's wind. It was great. But I mean, short of that, I'm like, I think representation matters. I think it's important, and it doesn't. What do I care? It's Superman. As long as he's fighting bad guys and being truth, justice, and good to people.
Yeah. I think, a default setting is to not care. And
Right.
I think that's okay. But I also so where we would differ is I would say, okay, if representation matters, if like all the little black kids who say, this is amazing to see Black Panther, he looks like me, he's a superhero, and all the Muslim kids see Miss Marvel, and she looks like me, or she's we worship the same God. This is a good thing. Then it does matter then for straight white cis men too. As much as you say they've had their time, or you might say they've had their time, I think it matters to them too. And I think that there's no problem with diversity and inclusion, as long as, for me, I can only speak to my position, but it's always been that yes, be diverse. But just create new, like Superman has Kal-El, right? Or there is a black Superman.
On some other world, right?
Yeah.
And then his son is actually gay. It's not Superman who's gay.
Kal-El is gay.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I mean. Yeah. So I mean, there are these stories. I think there is a story coming out with Ta-Nehisi Coates is part of it. It's a black Superman thing. Like, I think like if the stories exist and are diverse in and of themselves, I support that. If they want to make, like, I don't know if Catwoman, I'm not a Catwoman person. I don't know if she's canonically Latina or not. But she was in this movie that got canceled. And so people were pissed off, like, oh, Kevin Smith's like, oh, it's a bad luck to cancel it. Like, no. It doesn't matter that she's Latina. Like, so that's how
you mean the Batgirl show?
Oh, did I say
the
Cat?
movie?
I'm sorry,
Batgirl.
Yeah. I don't know what chat will probably know. But like, for me, it's about creating new characters that are diverse and giving them the amount of putting in. It's all about what I mentioned earlier. Put in the work. If you want a super awesome black superhero, then do what like Eric July's doing with his own comic. He sold $3 million worth of a comic with a black lead on his own. And the comic is not political or any of that nature. But like he went and created his own universe, created this character. And like one day, hopefully that guy will make movies. But like, I just think it's lazy to like race swap or gender swap. That's the only stuff that I kind of like, oh, Iceman's gay now. Come on, like create a new character that's happens to be gay or whatever.
Yeah, I think I hear you, and I certainly would I don't mind both, but I will say it kind of goes back to that. I've had a seat at the table for a long time, as have you, and I look at it and I go, maybe the progressive left looks at it and says, well, and I know this is going to sound like it's apples to bananas or apples to monkeys, but, it's frankly, oh, you're taking something of ours like Superman and changing him, make your own thing. I'm sure the indigenous people of America would say, well, okay, back at you, white motherfucker. right? It's like,
Well,
okay,
yeah.
well, or black people. It's like, well, you could have left us alone, but you didn't. You kind of took us. I mean, it's like, I know that was a long time ago, but I'm just saying that there is this sense of when white guys complain about you're taking our stuff. It's like, really?
I get it.
Really?
I get it. And I think we're like 80% in agreement.
Yeah.
Like I literally, if they, I literally nothing. Like the fact that Miss Marvel's a Muslim, I don't give a shit. I don't care. Like it's not for me. Like in multiple ways. It's a YA novel. It's, I don't think that they developed Miss Marvel, but then you have like America Chavez, who's an immigrant. So it's like, these stories are not for me.
Right, that's fair. That's totally fair.
If Marvel wants to make America Chavez a movie or whatever, that's cool. Just don't call me a racist if I don't see it. That's all I'm asking.
What do you
it's
think?
A simple thing.
I know we've been busy having a very nice preamble to our Olive Garden chat, but what do you think about the news that's breaking right now that the FBI is raiding Mar-a-Lago? It is under siege. It is occupied. Agents have cracked open a safe there. I'm seeing that on the headlines. Are you following this, or you're like, no?
No. I've just been singularly paying attention to you.
Me too. Until my brother just tweeted me. Trump says his Mar-a-Lago home was raided by a large group of FBI agents.
I see that. Yeah.
Jeremy's like 8 new videos. Got Tuesday planned out.
No, I don't do Trump videos.
I know. Okay, the phone is open. The phone line is 949-954-0569 if you want to call Jeremy. He's given us a lot of his time. I don't want to monopolize too much more. But if you do want to chat with him real quick, in the meantime, I'm going to ask him about God. So, well, okay, so here's the thing. And I'm just not, I'm certainly not as successful as you at YouTube. And I struggle with telling, hang on, let's see who this is. Hey, it's Jaffe. You're on with Jeremy.
Hey there, this is Guns Gitaku.
What's up? Can you hear him, Jeremy?
Hey.
I can't. Is it in Discord or is it
let's go back to Zoom now. We're gonna leave Discord.
Okay. I'm gonna leave Discord. Okay.
Okay, and then and unmute yourself in Discord, Jeremy, if you don't mind. Okay, can you start again, caller? Go ahead.
Hey, this is Guns Gitaku. I had a question for Jeremy Quartering.
Still can't hear him?
I don't hear anything.
Hang on, man. Hang on. Let me get this working real quick. Un momento, por favor.
Is it in Discord?
It's not. It's not Discord. It's coming through. It's coming through the main channel. Hang on, caller. Can you say something?
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
I wonder why I can't hear you. You're definitely piping through.
Hello. Can you test me out or?
Well, it may not work. Go ahead and ask me the question, and then I'll relay it. I'll relay it. Go ahead.
Yeah, gotcha. So this is Guns Gitaku. I wanted to ask Jeremy about the internet cafe that got trashed during the riots about a year and a half or maybe 2 years. I can't remember when. I wonder what happened to that place. I can't remember the name. And then also, has he ever thought about exploring with his brand, like Coffee Brand Coffee, into like the metaverse, as it's called, and everything like that, and going into VR events and anything, or has he actually explored VR before? Gotcha.
Okay, let me ask him. Thanks for the call, buddy. I appreciate it.
No problem. Bye.
He wants to know 2 things. He wants to know about your coffee brand and saying, have you ever thought of sort of bringing your coffee brand into VR, the metaverse? I don't really know what you would do with it in there, but
yeah, I don't know. I mean, no, I haven't thought about it. If there are people who will buy it, I'll be there.
Right. And then he wanted to know about an internet cafe that was raided or something that.
I'm sorry, I don't know. Yeah.
Man, let me know.
Internet cafes, I imagine that's a foreign thing nowadays, right? Like,
if it turns out that I misquoted you or I didn't understand the first question, just type it. So what I was going to say though is, so with the whole religion thing, and somebody in the chat's like, pick a side. You're either atheist or agnostic, and it's like,
no, really, you don't have to.
Because it's
the
not,
definition of being agnostic is not having a side.
Right, and I'm an atheist when it comes to Muslim, Judeo, Christian, any religion that's ever come out and said this is God.
Religion.
I am an atheist because I don't believe any of that stuff. Am I agnostic in the sense of going, I don't know what the fuck's going on? Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Maybe there's a creator. Maybe it's computer. Maybe it's not even, none of it's real. Who the fuck knows, right? That's, But
yeah, when I was young and healthy and virulent, I was certain I was an atheist. And then I got older and I started having health problems and stuff. And then you get older and you start thinking about things. You know, I tell, if you're asking like, were you kind of headed towards like, you know, how do you deal with that with your audience?
Because it seems like you're saying you have a part of your audience that is religious.
Super religious, yeah.
And
25%.
Right, okay. And so for me, whenever I talk to religious people on my show, I just can't help but go, explain this to me and challenge them and push them and have them push me, because I'm just like,
don't be an asshole.
I'm
like,
not. But how do you?
I'm saying, like, I say this. Sorry.
No.
What I was only, you know, I'm just saying. I say I'm just honest about it. I say, hey, you know, I respect all people's religion. Like, I'll qualify it whenever I say it. Like, I'm not a religious person. I find myself asking different questions as I get older now. I don't have all the answers, so therefore I cannot tell you that you're wrong. And that, you know, and then I find that my and because I'm being authentic and I'm being honest about it, I think that my viewers are like, okay, yeah. And then like, believe me, I get emails from super religious viewers that are like, please, bro, let me save your soul. You know, let me say, yeah. But I mean, like, but like, I'm just like, hey, but this is what they believe. And, you know, it's I respect that in the same way that, like, you know, it doesn't hurt anybody. Yes, organized religion does. I'm not a fan of organized religion, but like the individual who happens to believe, hey, what happens on this planet matters. I don't really think, outside of like extremists, you know, I don't think that's a bad thing, even though I can't comprehend it or understand it. And I'm just upfront about that with my viewers, and I think they understand where I'm at. Gotcha. Okay. Okay. I'm going to bring in final call of the day. I'm going to let him close us out. It's P Turtle. I want to say, don't blow it, P Turtle.
Yeah, don't fucking blow it. I got to work. I got to, no, I can't work the puppet. I'm on a different screen. Never mind. I have a puppet at P Turtle. He calls in and says the stupidest fucking shit, but he thinks he's genius. Okay. But because he's going to close us out, Jeremy, buddy, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
For spending time, for talking to us. Yeah, we may not agree, but who gives a shit? Let's talk. Let's eat breadsticks at Olive Garden. And whenever
more
I'm in,
people should feel that way,
and more people should go to the Olive Garden. This show's been sponsored, but I don't have any sponsors, so fuck you. I'll do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
All right, P Turtle. Oh, Jeremy, can you drop into one more time to Discord?
Oh yeah, hold on, I'm coming.
P Turtle, are you there?
Oh.
Are you there?
I'm here. Right. I can't hear the quartering guy.
Well, the quartering guy. Hang on, the quartering guy's
I'm
coming.
in the waiting room.
He's coming. P Turtle, you're on. You are on with the quartering. Go.
Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm all right. Listening to you and Rich get into that little debate, it made me think that you guys are like very similar, and I think that you guys are very progressive people, but you like to occupy, you know, your channels in a not a alt-right, because that barely exists, but a more right side of the internet. And I think you guys make more money because, you know, it's kind of a counterculture now and you can make more money doing that. So I just wanted to ask you if you think you and him are very similar, or do you think there's major differences between you two?
Fair question.
God damn, that was actually a cogent.
Yeah, you shit on him and then he dropped it.
I didn't shit on him, but he's like the good doctor on that TV show. So he calls in and you're like, it's brilliant, but he's out of his fucking mind. All right, go ahead.
I have one more question, but it's quick. But go ahead.
All right, go ahead.
Do you want to do the quick one first, and then I'll answer the more complex one?
I was going to say something about Rich, but I'm going to get to that when he calls because I want to get on him about quantum TV. But all right, well, I want to ask about the monkeypox that's been going around.
Okay.
And do you believe it's a gay disease or no?
Oh my God! Go ahead, Jeremy.
I don't think a disease has a sexual.
I want you to answer the question too.
Oh yeah, I don't think a disease has a sexuality, but I am avoiding gay orgies just as a precaution.
Okay, because I'm sure you weren't okay with the lockdowns, right? The 15 days.
No, of course not. Yeah.
So, do you think in order to keep maybe some of us safe, that maybe gays should temporarily be locked down, at least for 15 days? So this doesn't spread?
Yeah, I mean, maybe if there were like a camp or something like that, and you could, you know, corral, like, you know. No, I mean, I don't think so. I think that...
Really? You know the sex drives of gay men are unstoppable. You cannot stop them.
It's like doomsday or the
my sex drive I feel like is extraordinarily high too. But I think just wrap your meat. I think this is a good rule. Any sexuality, wear rubber. And
you can get monkeypox by just handshake, kissing, anything.
Jeremy said he would suck off a hobo. What do you want? He's not worried about monkeypox. He's going to suck the jism of a goddamn 1920s ride-the-rail hobo, and he's going to end up giving birth out of his butthole to like Arlo Guthrie or some folk singer. He doesn't give a fuck.
That's why I can't believe that people think that this guy is a alt-right, because people like me, I wouldn't say I'm on either side, but I'm certainly extreme in my beliefs. I think to most people look at somebody like him as extremely progressive. He's extremely progressive.
And I'm yes.
He got it. You win. What was your first? Go to your first question. Go. Let's wrap it up.
You guys never answered.
Oh, he already got it. He got it.
Yeah, I said there. Yeah. I answered it.
No, Jeffy, you didn't answer it though.
Is monkeypox a gay disease?
No, but I'm saying to lower the spread, should we lock down gays for 15 days to make sure this does? Because I'm in New York. This is the epicenter.
So my answer would be if which there isn't, but if there is a very clear biological marker that is able to first off identify people of the LGBT persuasion, and then another clear marker that says anyone with that marker is automatically contagious for monkeypox, then sure. But you don't lock them.
Whoa!
But you're not locking them down because they're gay. You're locking them down because biologically there are two markers that suggest that individual with that makeup is contagious. That's all.
Jeffy, 95% of the people that have had monkeypox have been from the gay community.
Okay.
That's a extremely large number. And then again, you look at
but why would you lock the gays down if 95% of them have monkeypox and they clearly are only giving it to each other? Are you?
No, they're not.
You just said 95%.
No. It's starting to spread because you can get it other ways. It doesn't have to be anal sex or blowjobs or anything like that.
You can touch somebody and shake their hand and get it, P. Turtle.
Exactly. So they just said a baby got it who was adopted by two gay parents.
I saw that.
Yeah, but babies are gay, P. Turtle.
Yeah, they all gay.
They all start as gay.
So don't you think in order to keep the rest of us safe, we should lock them down for 15 days, just like the rest of us got locked down?
I just said if you can actually make a viable argument. No, P. Turtle, you didn't. You're 95%
of the people that got it are gay. They gave it to a baby who they took to a pride parade.
I think if you can show scientifically, and I'm going to hang up on you after this, if you can show scientifically...
I'm glad you gave me the warning, by the way.
Yeah. If you can show scientifically that an individual of the gay persuasion is guaranteed to... They're only ones who give monkeypox, then yes, not because they're gay, not because you're being anti-gay, but because you have a way to say, hey, we could make this easier and safer on people. I do agree, but I also think our tax dollars should go towards that lockdown.
Can I say one more thing, real quick, before you hang up?
Yeah.
In order to get the vaccine in New York for monkeypox, you have to prove that you're gay and have had multiple partners.
How do they do
don't you think that's an agenda to make people gay? In order for me to get the vaccine,
absolutely, P. Turtle. There is an agenda to make people gay. Sleep well tonight in your fantasy land.
All right, thank you guys. Thank you, Jeffy.
Bye, P. Turtle. All right, there's one more.
I like that guy.
He should call into your show. You were doing live for a while, but you're mostly not live, right?
I deal with anxiety, and so if, this is not a humble brag, but like, if there's like more than 500 people watching, I get really anxious and like it sucks for me. And then like I panic about missing messages or missing super chats, and so I don't usually do them.
Okay. Do you want this last call or not?
I'll take it. He asked about the RTU thing. We could skip that if you want.
No. Go ahead.
I would say like I don't know how. I'll just answer it short. I don't know how dissimilar we are. I know we share a lot of viewers. I think that he gets bored because there's not a lot going on in tech, because I don't want to talk shit when he's not here to defend himself. But I think he is trying to appeal to these progressives, and he sees an easy path by trying to speak out against me. And he should really, I think it's cringe when both of us are arguing. It's dumb. Grown men, I just have zero interest in like meeting him halfway, because this is the guy that went into like a public space and was like screaming about me and recording it. It was really dumb and cringe, but I wish him the best. And I don't think we're very similar at all. I think, work ethic pretty much divides us. But anyway, go on.
All right, final one. This is a fella or a Felletti who goes by the name of Chaotiki. I don't fucking know.
Chaotic Key.
Look at that. Chaotic Key. What's up, buddy?
Yeah.
Chaotic Key, are you there? I'll give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3. Come on, baby. Turn over.
Oh, no. Oh, wait. They're working on it. They muted and unmuted.
Come on, baby. You can do it. It's like the Millennium Falcon.
Damn it.
Alien Vertex.
Hello.
What's up, man?
Okay.
Last call of the day. What do you want to say to Jeremy? Alien Vertex, go. Oh my God, that's it. Goodbye, Jeremy, buddy. We did it. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I appreciate it.
David.
Thanks for all the time. And it was a nice chat. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed talking to you.
I did. I had a good time. Thanks for having me.
Anytime. Be well, and I'll hang out with the chat for a few minutes, but we'll let you go, and we'll see you soon. Thanks, man.
All right. See ya.
All right. There goes Jeremy. Off into the evening, folks and Fellettis. Listen, Thursday, Rich will be on from ReviewTechUSA. Tomorrow is a proper Gabbin' and Game show. I may very well be streaming tonight with, what's that thing called? I'm looking forward to playing it. Mortuary Assistant. But in the meantime, be well, be safe, think of me when you touch yourself, all the stuff that you need to do. And thanks for hanging out with me. Bye, you guys. Mods, thank you guys very much. I have no idea what the chat was like, but I cannot imagine it was easy. Get well, Rob the Mod. I'll see you guys